Welcome back, everyone, to our deep dive series on finding the best career paths. Today, we're unlocking insights for those born under the Chinese zodiac sign of the snake.
That's right. A fascinating sign with some really unique professional implications.
Exactly. And you're probably wondering, how your sign might point you towards a more fulfilling job. And, well, that's what we're exploring.
We'll be digging into suitable occupations, looking at who makes good work partners,
And even offering some astrological tips based on snake characteristics, all aimed at career happiness.
and we've got a couple of famous examples too.
We do. So let's get started. Where do we begin with understanding the snake in a professional context?
Well, the snake archetype brings a really interesting mix to the workplace. They often have this remarkable tenacity, and a real sort of inherent talent for what they do.
Okay, tenacity and talent.
Yes, but what's also key is their strong sensibility and adaptability. This lets them handle different professional settings, respond really resourcefully.
Right, but it feels like more than just reacting, doesn't it?
No.
There's that self-awareness there,
Exactly. Deep self-awareness.
and that strong intuition they seem to possess. It's almost like a compass, right? Guiding them towards opportunities.
Precisely. It helps them not just see, but actually seize those opportunities.
It's interesting, too, how they tend to work, kind of methodically, quietly almost, not really wants to shout about their skills.
That's a great point. They often achieve success without needing to, flaunt their talents. It's a quiet kind of power.
Quiet power, like that.
And this combination, the skill and the thoughtful approach, it often paves the way for really positive career paths.
So these traits, they naturally align better with certain professional environments.
Definitely. Certain fields just resonate more.
Okay, let's get specific then. What kinds of jobs, what roles tend to be a good fit for someone born in the year of the snake?
Well, given their often refined tastes and those inherent talents we mentioned, the performing arts often stand out.
Performing arts, like acting.
Yes, acting, singing, maybe even directing. They seem to enjoy the atmosphere of the entertainment world, their natural affinities, their sort of flexible attitudes. It fits.
That makes a lot of sense. Performers often have that captivating quality, and the snake's sensibility could really translate well there. What other areas are good fits?
Fields that value design and aesthetics are also strong contenders. Think about roles like a designer, or maybe a beautician, even a masseuse. It taps into that potential for keen visual perception and appreciation for beauty, for form.
Interesting. So a real creative streak, detail-oriented.
Potentially, yes.
What about jobs focused more on, say, service or guidance?
It's mentioned, actually. Roles like counselor, teacher, even hospitality roles like waiter or waitress come up.
What do you think that is?
Perhaps it's that intuitive understanding again, understanding people, situations, that can make them effective in those kinds of people-focused roles.
Okay, got it. And then you mentioned something earlier before we started about some more unexpected connections, art and water.
Ah, yes, this is fascinating. There's the suggestion of potential gains in areas that link art with water. So maybe a painter who specializes in seascapes, or a musician inspired by water themes, or even, more directly, professions like diving or fishing.
Wow, that's specific.
It hints at a deeper resonance, maybe something symbolic, less obvious talents coming through.
It really does suggest a certain depth to the snake personality, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about those drawn more to, let's say, mental work, intellectual pursuits?
This seems to be a major area of strength. Professions like politician, teacher, there's teacher again, highlighting the mental engagement, entrepreneur, psychologist. These are often cited as really good matches.
And why is that? What makes those fields suitable?
It seems to align with their preferred style of working independently, plus their sensible feelings, that insightful understanding of emotions, and their, frankly, unique personalities. They can really thrive in those demanding fields.
So it sounds like there's a pretty broad spectrum. Performance, design, service, art, mental work.
Yeah.
Lots of possibilities.
A very wide range, yes.
Let's maybe dig a bit deeper into a few of these. We touched on performing arts and the glamour.
Yes. The lifestyle associated with acting, singing, directing often holds appeal. And their adaptability probably helps them navigate that unpredictable industry, maybe find success a bit easier.
Right, and the mental work aligning with their independent spirit.
Absolutely. Snakes often prefer working autonomously. They're self-reliant. So fields like politics, education, running their own business, psychology, these fit well. They can use their unique perspective without getting swayed too much.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about the artistic side again? Not just design, but you mentioned academic work in arts and culture.
Yes. What's interesting there is the combination of meticulous attention to detail
Okay.
with a high IQ, generally speaking, and a strong aesthetic sense. So academic work in art history, cultural studies, aesthetics, literature, it fits perfectly. They have the rigor and the appreciation.
Rigor and appreciation. Nice combination. And finally, the idea of snakes as managers. That might surprise some people. Why are they potentially good leaders?
It really comes back to their sharp minds, their strategic thinking. When things get tough, snakes often have this ability to step back, analyze objectively, and find the best way forward. That wisdom, that long-term view, it makes them capable guides.
Okay, so a clear picture of careers is forming. But what about the people they work with? Who are the best collaborators for a snake?
Good question. For a really good synergy, the sources point to the ox, the monkey, and the rooster.
Ox, monkey, rooster. Best partners.
Yes, cooperation with these signs is thought to significantly boost a snake's career.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just those three stand out as top tier.
Those are highlighted as the best individual pairings, yes.
Are there others that work well, maybe in a group?
There's mention of the snake, sheep, and horse combination, but the key there seems to be that they need to work together as a trio to really hit their stride.
Ah, so the dynamic relies on all three being involved.
That's the suggestion, yes.
Okay. And conversely, who should snakes maybe be a bit more cautious about partnering with professionally? Any challenging signs?
Yes, a few are identified. The tiger, the monkey notice monkey, is on both lists, and the pig.
Monkey on both. How does that work?
It suggests a complex dynamic, potential for great collaboration, but also a risk of rivalry, maybe intolerance, depending on the individuals and situation.
Okay, so monkey is complicated. What about tiger and pig?
With the tiger, there might be inherent competitiveness or clashes, and with the pig, the potential for misunderstandings or just fundamentally different approaches seems higher.
So being aware of these dynamics could be really useful for navigating office politics or team projects.
Definitely could help anticipate potential friction points.
Now, beyond the job itself and the team, are there any sort of astrological tips for career happiness, things a snake can do to enhance their success?
Yes, a couple of key themes emerge. First, given their wisdom and insight, it's important they stay sharp, Avoid being outsmarted or taken advantage of.
Right, play to their strengths.
Exactly. And second, while they often have a strong individual style, cultivating a calm, dignified way of handling problems is beneficial. And this is important, really listening to and considering other people's perspectives, even if their first instinct is to go it alone. That openness can actually lead to greater success.
That's a great point. That willingness to listen, even when you have strong ideas yourself, it often opens doors, doesn't it?
It absolutely can. It builds bridges and can lead to better, more well-rounded outcomes.
Okay, so to make this feel a bit more real, let's talk about some famous people born in the year of the snake. Who comes to mind?
Well, one very prominent example is Floyd Mayweather Jr., the boxer, born February 24th, 1977.
Ah, yes. Undefeated champion.
Exactly. And think about his style, that undefeated record, the incredible technical skill, the very strategic, almost methodical approach in the ring. It really resonates with that tenacious, insightful snake quality.
It really does. The calculation, the planning, you can see the connection. Who else?
Another major figure is Xi Jinping, the leader of China, born June 15th, 1953, also a snake.
Okay, so a world leader. Obviously, immense influence there.
His significant role, the power he wields on the global stage, certainly noteworthy.
So two very different fields, sports and politics, yet both individuals reaching the absolute pinnacle.
And you could argue both reflect some of those core snake strengths we've discussed. Mayweather's strategic dominance, Xi Jinping's calculated leadership. Different expressions, perhaps, of similar underlying traits.
That's a fascinating way to look at it. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we've covered quite a bit: potential jobs, who to work with, some tips, even famous examples for those born under the snake sign.
Ultimately, it's about considering how your own innate qualities, that intuition, that strategic thinking, much like the snake, can be real assets in your professional life, how you can leverage them.
Absolutely. And if you listening are curious about how all this might apply specifically to your own astrological chart, your unique situation, well, we've included a link in the description where you can explore getting a personalized reading.
It can offer some tailored insights.
It can indeed. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, God bless.